Hello guys, welcome back to my channel Chemical Study Zone. I am DVK Bhagwan. In the previous lecture, we just discussed about the what is continuum approximation and Newton's law of viscosity and what are Newtonian fluids and non-Newtonian fluids. If you doesn't watch this video, I'll just give the link in description. You can watch them. Now, in this lecture, I just want to briefly discover about what is fluid statics and what are the pressure force on a fluid element and what are types of forces. Here, generally we have two types of forces. They are body forces and surface forces. What are body forces? These body forces generally act on the entire body. That means if you have a element of which has mass m and volume v, then according to Newton's second law of motion, force acting on the object equals to mass into acceleration. As we have gravity in this direction, so the force will act is mg. Generally this mg not only acts only on the only on one surface, but it generally acts on the entire body. It means it acts on all surfaces. So such types of forces are generally known as body forces. So what are surface forces? The surface force generally acts upon only one surface that which they are passing through. What does it generally means? Let us give the example. Suppose consider a cubic volume and, uh, and, and consider cubic volume just considering the top surface. And at the top surface let the unit normal be n bar and the force acting on the top surface be r. So now this force r can be resolved into its components based on the unit normal and according to a coordinate system, that is r and bar, which is along the direction of the unit normal acting on the surface, and rt1 and rt2, which are generally known as the tangential forces. Here Rn is normal force. Here look, n bar is unit outward normal, r bar is the force per unit area acted upon by the fluid. Generally this entire volume is considered under the fluid. Okay, here Rn bar is a normal stress or force. We generally denote it as stress. And rt1 and rt2 are the tangential forces or shear stresses. Now let's go into static fluid. What does you mean by static fluid? The static fluid is nothing but the fluid which does not move. That means what we can say generally. That means the forces acted upon on a fluid. Generally they also act upon by gravity g. So we have mg also force, which is body force. But we are talking about surface force over here. Generally, for a condition to move a fluid, generally the forces shouldn't have to be balanced. So if the forces are not balanced, then the fluid will move in the direction of the higher forces. But for a static fluid, as it is does not flowing, that means the all forces should have to be balanced to each other. So it's a very important point that we should have to note that in static fluid the force will act only normally to the arbitrary volume. That means we have only normal forces acting upon the object, but there are no any tangential or shear stresses, because generally to move any object from one place to another place we just apply a force which is tangential to the object. That means here in this condition the fluid is not moving, so there is no tangential stress applied on the object. If we so ft bar is 0. So only for static fluid we have only normal and body forces acting upon arbitrary volume, and tangential stress must be zero. Even if we apply a small shear stress or small tangential force to the object, it generally starts moving. We have said arbitrary volume. What is arbitrary volume? Generally, the volume we consider shouldn't be any or cubic or a rectangular volume. It can be any volume in such shapes. Okay. Generally, these are known as the arbitrary volumes. But for a reason is we are choosing the cubic volume, so we can calculate the very accurately values. So generally for static fluid, we generally said that the forces will act only normally to the surface. So here r bar n is the normal force acting upon the object. But generally we can say that for any fluid, pressure also acts. So that means the pressure acts in such a direction that is opposite to the normal force acting on the fluid. That means if the force acted in this direction, then the pressure will act in the opposite direction. So this r bar n can be resolved into a component which is the constant into this unit normal vector n bar, as both are parallel to each other in a static condition. Here according to scientists said that this constant scalar is nothing but the pressure minus, which indicates its direction that is opposite to the force acting upon. So r bar of n is equals to minus p into n bar, where p is the pressure. Okay, now let's start. Now let's go into the another topic, pressure force on a fluid element. If generally pressure acts on an object, then it also applies some force on it. So what is that force acted upon a volume? That we should have to prove in this condition. Here I am considering a cubic volume for a easiness of the problem, and I have drawn the dimensions and I have drawn a coordinate geometry here in discussed as x, y and z, and I have shown that delta y, delta x and delta z are the sides, length, breadth and height of the volumes of the cubic surface. So its volume del v equals to del x into del y into del z. So now I should have to prove what is the pressure force acting upon the object, as pressure equals to force by area, force equals to pressure into area. Now consider face A, B, C, D. That means it is the face A, B, C, D. On this face, as it's in the y direction, the face, so pressure acting upon this direction is P of y into area. Area means as it's a y direction, so area is delta x into delta z. Yes. The force acting on ABCD is P of y is pressure in y direction into the area delta x into delta z. Now consider face EFGH and force on EFGH equals to, here EFGH is this one, this face. Okay, as I am consider on the same as I am considering the faces on same coordinate axis, so you can even consider these two faces or these two faces. or you can consider this face and the inner face, and even you consider this top face and the bottom face also. But I am considering this face and this face along the y direction. So EFGH is pressure acting in y plus delta y direction. That means here the pressure is P of y, but after addition of delta y, here the pressure may be y plus delta y. So P of delta y into volume area is delta x into delta z. Here delta x, delta y, delta z are infinitesimal volume elements. That means whose values tend to 0. So for solving this type of series, we generally ask something. No. Sorry. To generally solve the force acting relatively between these two plates is B, d of Fy, pressure force along y direction. It means equals to P of y into delta x into delta z minus P of y plus delta y delta x into delta z. Okay, but we know P of y. Let us assume that we know P of y. Then how can we solve P of y plus delta y? We generally don't know its value. But according to Taylor's expression in the differential equations, P of x plus delta x can be written as P of x plus dou p by dou x into del x plus dou square p by dou x square 1 by half of into del x whole square plus 1 by 4 of dou cube b by dou x cube into del x whole cube, so on. Here, but we neglect all these terms. We generally consider, so as del x is very small, so its square and the cubic terms will also be very small while multiplying with these terms. So that's why we generally neglect higher order terms. So we can write P of x plus delta x equals to P of x plus dou p by dou x into del x. As is the equation 1, we can substitute this equation in this above equation. So we can solve them as P of y equals to P of y del x into del z minus, in place of P of y plus delta y, you can write as P of y plus dou p by dou y into del y delta x into delta z. Okay, let's take delta x and delta z as common. Now we will get P of y minus P of y minus dou p by dou y into del y del x into del z. These two terms will get cancelled. Then we will left with d of f of py equals to minus dou p by dou y into del x into del y into del z. As we know, del x into del y into del z is delta v, so we can write it as d of fpy equals to minus dou p by dou y into del v. Here this minus symbol indicates that force is in opposite direction. Opposite direction we considering. So similarly we can write that the pressure force acting in along x direction is minus dou p by dou x into delta v, and pressure force acting along z direction is minus dou p by dou z into delta v. Okay, now what is the as force is a vector quantity, we all know that. So how can we write this common types of forces in a vector form? Is dou of f bar p equals to dou of fpx and along I direction plus dou of fpy j cap in y direction, dou of fpz k cap along z direction. So as we know dou of fpx, fpy and fpz, so we can write them as d of f bar p equals to minus dou p by dou x into I cap minus dou p by dou y into j cap minus dou p by dou z into k cap, taking all common delta v. Let us take the minus also common over here and just write pluses. So as we know, thus dou by dou x I cap plus dou by dou y j cap plus dou by dou z k cap is the vector gradient, as del equals to dou by dou x I cap plus dou by dou y j cap plus dou by dou z k cap. We can write this term as d of f bar p equals to minus del p into delta v. Here delta v is a scalar quantity and del p is the vector quantity. So product of a vector and scalar gives us a vector. So it is the force, is the pressure force acting on the fluid element. So we know this. Now just let us go in a brief introduction of force density and just stop our class. Force density, which is F bar P. F bar P is nothing but the force acting per unit volume. That means the pressure force delta F bar P by unit volume is nothing but the del P. So that means force density means a constant volume is acting all around the element we are considering. Okay guys, now just stop the class here and just continue the previous class about the types of forces, the floating force, the buoyancy force and all etc. If you like my channel, please like, share and subscribe, or to get the latest information. And uh, and if you subscribe if you subscribe, like and comment, then I can also have a motivation to explain the new topics related to chemical engineering. Thank you guys, bye.